Jordan!
Iain!
Who was cutting their grass, got a little too caught up in singing the solo to Sweet Child of Mine, wandered out of their garden and ended up falling headfirst into Mel's hole.
Tim Allen?
No, two guys. What?
Sounded like you fell into Mel's hole then.
I'm always in someone's hole. Hello and welcome to episode 71 of Two Guys What's Up, the weekly comedy podcast where my head is all over the place, but luckily, to take the reins and fill the time, it's this guy, Jordan. Jordan, how are you?
Hello, I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Like I said, all over the place.
That's all right, though. That's how I like you.
Scatterbrained.
Yeah! Makes me feel better about myself.
Unable to recall certain events.
Oh, God. This is turning dark, quick.
Yeah, let's move away from that.
Yeah. Totally separate topic. Remember Sophie? She texted me this morning. Well, technically not. I ended up receiving the text this morning because she is currently in Nashville.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, she is in the US of A, enjoying life for the next 2 weeks.
Lovely. Lucky.
The reason I bring it up is she said that she's in a bar and it's $20 to request a song here and $5 to sing a karaoke.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, okay. She said, we're all missing a trick over here in the UK. And I think what she means is, because currently she's asleep, I can't discuss this with her.
Wake her up.
On the other side of the world.
Get her on the phone.
Hang on, I'll FaceTime her now. And I suspect the reason for that is because at least it stops idiots, going up and just kind of...
Taking a piss.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Unless you have then rich idiots who don't care and do it anyway.
Precisely. Yeah, you're just going to get a different class of idiot, aren't you?
Exactly. But yeah, I found that a little bit odd to pay for karaoke and to pay $20, which I don't know, probably over 15 quid at this point.
Yeah.
To request a song on, I'm guessing, the jukebox. I don't know.
Yeah, wait, that noise. I mean, that's like an hour's work here,
That is true.
Just to listen to 3 minutes of music. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I mean, in the UK, if you do things like karaoke, often you'll get a free drink thrown in for your trouble.
That is very true, yeah.
So it's like, come sing a song, get a free drink, get a shot or something like that.
Yeah. Over there, though, you actually get shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Get up on the stage, pay the $20, and if you do shit, you're getting shot, pal. It's the double barrel for you.
Yeah. So I was thinking about it as well. If it's $20 to request a song, well, is there a limit to the length of that song? Like, could I just choose Freebird that's like 20 hours long and get banged for my buck?
And I mean, I guess it's only a request. It's not like, yeah, we'll definitely play your song if you give us $20. You're only putting in a request there, so there's no...
That is true.
There's nothing to say you're definitely going to get it.
So do you mean that we could pay the $20 and not hear a thing?
Exactly, yeah.
Wow.
It's like, pay the $20, that's them had their pay for the night, just shut it all down, go home.
Okay, yeah. That feels like total scams.
Yeah.
Should we sign up and start this?
Yeah, let's do it, man. If someone in America could please explain this to us, is this maybe just a local thing to where Sophie, our resident duck lady, is staying? Or is that like a thing that's all over the place? Please let us know.
Yeah, I'm guessing not. I've not seen that when I've gone to America. But having said that, they are in Nashville, and that is kind of the music central, isn't it? So maybe it's a little bit more precious there.
Right. Or maybe she's just lying to you.
Maybe.
She's just pulling your leg.
Yeah, she's like, you know what, fucking have him.
I haven't spoken to Jordan in a while. I think I'll fuck with him.
Yeah, exactly. Most people do, to be fair.
Other than me, I just fuck you. Oh, anyway, what are you going into for us today, Jordan?
Well, Iain, today I've got a list of the internet's most facepalm realizations.
Oh, nice one.
The moment where maybe you say something or maybe even experience secondhand embarrassment from someone and you can't help but just, oh, why did you say that?
Yep.
Or why did I say that? It can be awful. I'll just tease it a second.
Okay.
By just explaining to you one of my wife's.
Oh, God. Go on then.
If that's all right.
Please.
It was when we were travelling to America, actually.
She requested a song, got asked for $20. She said, I don't have it.
And it never got played.
Bastards.
No, we were travelling to America. We're on the flight over. You know, we're a little bit tired, maybe a little bit jet lagged, but that's okay. Doesn't excuse this, I don't think. Because so my wife has got her headphones in, kind of trying to enjoy the entertainment on the flight, and the stewardess comes over with the trolley ready to give meals for the flight. The stewardess, I hear it plain as day, asks my wife, "Would you like chicken or pasta?" And my wife...
Wait, did she think she maybe said something like, "Can I get pasture?"
Oh, that would have made sense. Instead,
all right.
My wife's reply was nothing verbal. She just put a thumbs up with a goofy smile.
Oh, no.
And the lady was like, "No, would you like chicken or pasta?" And she just does the same thing again.
No way.
It happens 3 times before I'm enjoying it at this point. My wife is oblivious.
You finished your meal.
It's gone cold at this point. We've landed. And I end up nudging my wife. I'm like, I do the universal sign for like, remove your headphones.
Yeah.
Which I would have thought you'd have done anyway at this point. But anyway, alas.
Yeah, someone's talking to you. You take your headphones out.
I'm like, she's saying, "Would you like chicken or pasta?" And then the realisation hit her and she's like, "I'm so sorry." So now it's become a bit of a running gag where occasionally I'll just go, "Chicken or pasta?" And she'll be like, "Oh, f***." Or I'll just randomly do a thumbs up with a goofy smile.
That is definitely the thing that I'm going to do to your wife next time I see her. Normally, I like to wind her up a bit because it's quite easy. It's quite funny. Not in a malicious way.
Oh, no, not at all.
Next time I see her, that is definitely going to be my go-to.
That would be amazing. Yeah, please do.
Fantastic.
So, what have you got for us today as well, Iain?
Well, Jordan, I thought after the pure debauchery and sheer disgustingness of episode 69...
What do you mean? It was great.
It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Gets me off every... No. I need to stop. As it's just you and I thought I'd cover something a little bit more easy listening. Something a little bit nicer. And I'm going to be talking to you today about fairies. But Jordan, I'd appreciate it if you just stop asking me f***ing questions and just get on with things instead, because I want to hear this goddamn cringe.
Do you?
Yeah, man.
The facepalm realizations, they're real, Iain.
Can't wait.
All right, should we get into it?
Nah.
All right, fine. See you later then.
Right, have a good day, mate. Yeah, let's do it. Go for it.
Well, dear listeners, facepalm realizations. We all know the facepalm, the sudden hit to one's face with one's own hand, in an air of, "Oh, why did I say or do that thing?" And I like to ask you all, are you the sort of person that will recite what they're about to say moments before calling someone on the phone, or maybe while you're in a queue waiting to be served, only to stumble over your own words and sound like a babbling idiot despite trying so hard? Or maybe you do something in the moment which seems innocent enough, only to realise moments later that you're dying from embarrassment. Well, you aren't alone, because today I've compiled for you a list of the internet's best facepalm moments. Starting with a poor chap online. I had to go to a library to pay a fee, and he says, "I was practising studying the queue, and in my head going between, I have to pay a fee and I have to pay a fine. When I finally got to the lady, I firmly stated, I have to pee, and then slammed a $5 bill on the counter, even though the fee was about 10 cents, and I just thought, f*** it, and walked out."
Yeah, just go with it.
Yeah. This was like 3 years ago, and I still haven't been back since.
Well, I mean, so long as no one sees you do the face palm, I think you can get away with just coming across like a little bit of a dickhead, but, you know, you can kind of run with that, own up to it, just live with it.
Do you reckon, though, like, going up to someone and be like, "I have to pee," slapping $5 on the counter and just buggering off?
Yeah, I mean, how many people do they see from day to day? They're probably not going to remember you.
I think they probably would.
Go with your hood up or something, wear a pair of glasses if you normally don't, or vice versa, and, you know, just go in, and no one's going to care, you know. People might go, "Oh, there's that fucking weirdo," but it's better, I think, than you standing in front of them and then catapulting your own palm straight into your face and then them knowing that was an accident.
Right.
Because that is more embarrassing, I believe.
Yeah, especially when you leave a mark.
Big handprint.
Yeah. Then, just to cement it, they went to the tattoo parlour. Just got it etched on.
Yeah, I think it's probably better to be a permanent fixture. Happens so often.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be awful. Another one in a similar vein, meant to say, "Hold on for a second," and "Give me a minute" to a customer, and it just came out as, hold me for a second? Man, what a Monday.
What would you do if you were in that situation in the shopping line and the person behind the checkout counter went, hold me for a second? Like, would you be a bit standoffish? Would you be like, why are you asking me that? Or would you be like, surely this person needs a hug? You know, if they've said that to me, maybe they're in a bit of distress and they just want a bit of human contact. Which way would you go with it? Because one might get you arrested.
That is true.
One might put the other person off.
What would I do? I'd be like, fuck off, just give me this refund, you fucking dick.
Just give me the bag, like I asked you to.
I want my money back, you fucking twat.
I just want to get my KY jelly and my cucumber home in peace without too many more eyes burning into my soul, please.
Rather than them saying, can you hold me? It's like, can I hold it for you?
Yeah.
Hold it steady.
In that case, that answer would be a definite yes, please. My door's open. It's number 5 West Avenue.
Love it.
See you at 8. I'm open all night.
Both metaphorically and physically. Another one about an aeroplane, actually. I was on an airplane years ago with my girlfriend and her parents. My girlfriend couldn't get a seat next to me and sat directly behind me. During the flight, I thought I would surprise her and reach my hand back onto her knee.
Oh, God.
Slowly, I kept extending it up her thigh until I heard giggling.
What? No.
Looked behind through the seats and saw that my hand was on the leg of a random stranger guy next to her. He saw my face and said, I just wanted to see how far you'd go. I could have died. Of course, my girlfriend was in on it and started laughing along with the rest of the row. I was fucking embarrassed.
Oh, God. It's slowly like some kind of creepy little spider crawling up some random stranger's leg. And he's just like, yeah, I'm fine with this. This will be hilarious. Wait till he gets to the top and he discovers it is not his girlfriend.
Oh, God. Or maybe he'd never been with her in that way.
Oh, possibly, yeah.
And you know, maybe he was like, oh. What a surprise.
I can't wait to land now.
Oh, this Iceland trip will be interesting. I thought when I first read that he was going to be doing it to the mum.
See, I just thought it was some random stranger, but they were like in shock at what was going on, that they were too scared to say anything, and then it just became even worse.
I don't know if it would have been worse had it been him feeling up his mother. Well, the girlfriend's mother.
Yeah, so like if you combine like your thoughts and my thoughts, like so he's accidentally doing it to her mum and she thinks he's doing it on purpose but is too scared to say anything out of shock. And then, you know, he looks back with this creepy little smile on his face.
Like, you like that?
Hey babe, you like that?
With a thumbs up and a grin.
My question is, why the hell would he be doing that in the middle of the row anyway? So to do that to anyone is a little bit inappropriate for public spaces.
I suppose that is very true. I don't know. I didn't ask him.
Starts fingering her.
Oh, God.
I'm definitely not putting that in. Fucking hell.
That's what he said.
Yeah, well, he wasn't anymore when he found out it's a random guy.
Brilliant. But having said that, there are some interactions that make you want the world to swallow you up, such as this following one. I work at a bank, and this lady came in with a £150,000 cheque. And to make conversation, I was like, oh, wow, I wish I had one of these myself.
Oh, no.
She then, deadpan, went on to tell me, it's a life insurance check. I would rather have the person.
Yeah. There are some situations where you really just have to, like, think this could very easily be the wrong thing to say. If someone's bringing you a vast amount of money, you know, it's not just going to come from nowhere, is it? It's going to have to have come from somewhere. So you might just think to yourself, maybe this is an inheritance.
Yes.
Maybe someone died. Maybe they're having to sell their home, for example, and this is the check from that. You know, just fucking think for 2 seconds.
I know. But equally, though, maybe have a little bit of understanding for the other person who's maybe a little bit nervous. They could be new on the job, and they might be, like, just saying the wrong thing out of nerves just to create conversation and try and be polite. You know, I can see it both ways.
Or maybe, like, they were like, God, I wish I had one of these. And they were like, yeah, that's life insurance. And they were like, yeah, no, I fucking hate my husband.
Or the best way to stop this is just nobody talk ever again.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I mean,
total silence.
It'll save me a lot of awkward interactions and having to communicate with the outside world.
Sorry, I was just doing it then.
Yeah, I clicked then. I was like looking at everything. I was like, what's gone wrong? Like, oh, yep, no, got it.
I figured I don't like it. Another one. I was in a park and a lady loudly called me out. Anyone who wants ice cream, come over here. Great. I headed over with several other friends. She handed out ices to all of them and asked me, who are you?
Oh.
I realised the rest were all her family. 30 years later, I still cringe.
That's terrible.
Can you imagine that? Like, anybody who wants ice cream, come over here.
You're just like, yeah, sure. No. Result, mate.
I do.
Yeah, great warm day. I'd love me an icy.
Mr. Whippy and 2 flakes, please. Another one. I was at my friend's birthday party in high school and was super drunk. I ran up to a group of people trying to be cool and said, hey, watch this. I then proceeded to run and dive into a bouncy castle, only for the Velcro-lined entrance to grab my pants and boxers and pull them down to my ankles. I'll never forget the looks of horror on their faces while I laid there on my back with my legs in the air showing off my gooch. Can you imagine that? Hey, watch this.
And their legs were stuck up, were they, in the air, so they couldn't even get out of the situation very easily.
I fucking love it. Oh, I've got tears at the thought because I could just imagine that happening. Another one. When my sister-in-law was a waitress, she was taking drink orders from a group of foreign holidaymakers. They each ordered a glass of red wine, but she suggested they should choose a litre instead because it's cheaper. They spoke among themselves and one man put his hand up and said, I'll be the leader.
Now, who does the onus fall on that one? For the who deserves the facepalm? The guy sat down or the waitress?
I don't know. I guess the guy sat down, but it's not really his fault, is it?
No.
It's just the nature of it, but I just think that is so brilliant.
Yeah.
I'll be the leader.
It's worse than the person has to explain to them, like, I didn't say leader, mate, and make them feel embarrassed, even though it's just a misunderstanding.
Why do they think that they would need a leader, though?
God knows.
Can I suggest a leader instead?
Just go along with it just to be polite.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Another one. This guy came into my thrift store and asked if we wash our clothes before putting them out. And I said we don't always do that. And he went straight to the underwear and swimwear section starting to sniff them.
God, no.
All right, yeah, that's not a face bar. That's just creepy. That's fucking horrendous.
Oh, it's grim. Oh.
Yeah, my dad was barred from there. Another one. Saying goodbye to my aunt at her husband's funeral, and I accidentally said, yeah, it was fun, when she said thanks for coming.
Oh, yeah, I've done stuff like that in the past.
It's just like an auto response, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like sometimes, like when I'm leaving places, I'll just say to people, right, see you later, have fun, and then walk away. I can't think of any like off the top of my head, but I've said that in some horrible situations to people.
Right, yeah.
Like, have fun. It's like, I definitely can't have fun, given the situation we're in.
Like while they're waiting for their son in hospital.
I don't think I've ever been in that situation, thank God, because that'd have been terrible.
Yeah, it's really easy to just come out with these. I think of them as just auto replies. We're just so used to saying them, and they fit in every situation.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
It's awkward, but I mean, again, 60 seconds later, no one remembers.
Exactly. We're all only human.
Another one. I was feeling an encroaching sickness coming upon me one time, so I decided to be proactive and make myself a couple of days worth of the most baller chicken soup I could manage in advance, so I'd be able to eat it even when I was dying of the lurgy. So I chopped the carrots, I sorted the onions, I stewed the chicken bones, and I cooked that motherfucker down for 8 hours until the most delicious stock you could imagine.
Nice.
But I needed to strain out the bones, so I proceeded to pour the whole thing through a colander and down into the sink it went.
Sake. I could see myself doing something like that,
That would be so easy. And you're left with this fucking bit of chicken and cartilage.
Yeah, you're like, I ain't gonna be beaten, I will eat it.
Yeah.
It's go sit on the sofa and gnaw it like a creeper in the corner.
And another one regarding sinks, because apparently this does everybody in. The pipe underneath my sink was broken, so I put a bucket below it to catch the water leaking out. When it was full, I poured it back into the sink and proceeded to flood my kitchen. I think these are so easily done.
Yeah, on a similar vein, that's like those auto responses. It's just an automatic thing to do. You get a bucket of water, you're in your kitchen, you pour it down your sink.
Yeah.
So, that's your automatic route of reasoning to do. And
little do you know, that bucket was catching said leak from the sink.
yeah, ultimately in flooding your kitchen.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a great way to start your Saturday. I was about 7 and it was Halloween. I went as a vampire and I went out into the family room and said, I want to suck your butt. I had no idea it was blood.
It's even weirder that they all presented. They were like, go on then.
It was when he turned around I thought something doesn't seem right.
That's how they do it in the movies. I don't remember seeing this.
They normally scream in terror.
Yeah, they normally go for the neck.
This was a shriek of thrill. Oh, penultimate one, to which I do really like this one because of the innocence of it. We had a very nice but spelling-challenged administrative assistant in the office I worked in several years ago. Part of our work was federally funded, and we had to submit a quarterly summary document of key deliverables that the office assistant would cull from our work logs and staff meetings, except every single sentence was like, "Where's Wally? Find the misspelled word."
No.
When my boss discovered that she'd sent a report with the header that was supposed to read asset model, spelt as ass model, he lost it and required that she use spell check for everything.
Yeah, good idea.
Yet the misspellings intensified.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she insisted that she was using a spell check. We come to find out later she'd been adding her misspelled words to the spell check dictionary for years. Which, if anyone isn't familiar, just means that it's no longer an incorrect word.
Yeah, it's like, just in case that dictionary doesn't know a word, you can add one to it so that it will then not think it's misspelled. So they've just been doing that to every single one.
Yeah, so gradually her workload has been getting worse and worse for all these spelling errors.
God.
Poor lass. And I will leave you with my favourite one. It's a headline from an American newspaper with a photo of a teenage boy's mugshot. It's short and simple. The headline reads, "Teens steal what they think is cocaine, end up snorting their grandfather's ashes."
No! Oh, that's awful. I am lost for words, Jordan.
Someone in the comments wrote, "Well, keeping it in the family."
Keeping the family in the family.
That is true. Oh, that's horrendous, but fucking made me laugh.
Yeah, that's grim.
So there you have it, a collection of facepalm moments.
Brilliant.
If you happen to have any related stories yourself, of course, please do let us know at twoguyswhatsup@gmail.com, because we would absolutely love to include them in our show. Because, of course, embarrassment shared is embarrassment halved.
Absolutely.
We all know that.
Definitely. Have you got any of your own you'd like to share?
See, I was thinking about this, but I'm pretty much perfect.
I thought as much.
There's definitely times where I've answered the door for a takeaway delivery or something like that, and they've said something, and I've done that exactly what we were talking about, that, oh, you too, and it was just, didn't end up being appropriate. Yeah. I can't think of what the quote is, but I've had my fair share of moments.
Yeah, everyone has them. We're all human. Just don't worry about it too much.
Yeah, I tend not to respond to a flight attendant with a thumbs up and a grin.
Probably the best way to do that, yeah. Or they will just kick you off the plane mid-flight.
Yeah, I wondered why they were all putting these little parachutes on, but not giving one to me.
Thumbs up this bitch.
Oh, love it.
Thank you.
Right, Ian.
Yeah.
I'm ready to hear some stuff.
Okie dokie, me old pal.
Because I like me old fairies.
You do. Fairy cakes, yeah?
Those as well, definitely.
And those little humans go great in f***ing marinade.
That you pour down the sink.
You just end up eating them whole anyway. So, the Fae folk, maybe more commonly known as fairies, mythical creatures that are deeply ingrained in folklore and mythology across cultures all around the world. Often depicted as whimsical, ethereal beings, the Fae inhabit realms hidden from the human eye, such as forests, meadows, and otherworldly domains. But that isn't to say that they never show themselves to us dirty humans, or that we don't occasionally catch an accidental glimpse. So today, I took a look at the results of something called the Fairy Census, the second one to be exact, that was put out so normal people could fill in a form with their experiences, creating a huge collection of tales of people's supposed genuine encounters with the Fae.
Interesting, okay.
The author, Simon Young, explains in the introduction, some 500 fairy experiences follow in these pages, and over 200,000 words about encounters with the impossible. These were, in the vast majority of cases, taken from the Fairy Census, an ongoing internet questionnaire about who sees fairies, when and why.
Right, so first thing before we dive in, if you don't mind, I'm not really a believer of fairies and this kind of fae stuff, so prove it.
Well, to be honest, I'm going to be doing the opposite. I'm going to be discussing with you about how fairies might intertwine into other aspects of the paranormal, but you'll see what I mean in just a second.
Okay, prove it.
No, you aren't listening to me, are you?
Prove it.
So today I thought I'd give you a few tales of reports from our neck of the woods, Jordan, in Yorkshire. And in the middle, I have a little ulterior motive that I'd like to talk to you about. And also, while we're going through these tales, I'd like to play a little game with you. As I'm relaying them, whenever you hear a little bit that might sound a little something like we spoke about in episode 2, it was a long time ago, but we speak about it regularly on this podcast, where the experiencer's experience could maybe be seen to cross into other phenomena associated with the paranormal. So I'd just like you to give me a little nudge. Okay, understand what I mean?
Yep, I do.
Okay, so just in case you don't, I'll give you a little example coming up in the first story right now. So this person says, I communicate with fairies, but up until this point, had never physically seen one. That's where you jump in there, Jordan?
Iain.
Yes, Jordan?
Little nudge.
You have something you'd like to say to me there?
Not really.
Okay, well then, let me tell you, Jordan. Do you remember when we were talking to James, and he said that these things would speak to you, and you should never trust them? Just because a disembodied voice says, I'm a fairy, is that reason to believe it? And maybe open yourself up to a whole other world of potential horrors?
Yeah, that is what you should do, isn't it?
No, Jordan, I was being facetious there.
Oh.
So you actually don't fall into the belief system that a fairy is talking to you if it says it is just a fairy.
Oh, I knew I should have paid attention.
Well, it is recorded, so you feel free to go back and listen. So this person continues. We were at Falls, and we stopped for lunch by the river with my husband and 2 kids. I was eating my sandwiches, daydreaming, and looked up at the trees and saw a daddy long-legged type creature almost hovering in front of me. But it didn't have daddy long legs. It was more physical and human-like. The wings were more dragonfly type. It was brown in colour. It was the way it hovered and its shape. I knew it was a sylph or a tree fairy. The next second, I looked away and it had gone. Like a daddy long legs, but with a physical type body. Possibly at the edge of the walk, nearby where some wooden carved mushrooms were. I've seen ghosts, and this was nothing like that. Fairies are a race that live alongside us in a slightly different vibrational/dimension.
See, right, I think I know now, just to connect some other dots.
Oh, dot me.
Oh, I will. You'll be like a paint by numbers in the end.
You got friends, have you?
So I reckon that's why some people are really into bugs.
Elaborate?
Because, you know, a little normal daddy long legs, nothing going for it.
Yeah.
But when it looks partly human and a little bit sexy, fuck me, pucker up.
No one said sexy.
Well, that's all I'm imagining it as.
Fair enough.
I'm just connecting the dots. She said to me to do that.
Yeah, okay, right. Rein it in a bit.
Okay, sorry.
Let's try and focus on the paranormal aspects rather than the sexy aspects.
It's hard.
I know it's difficult. Oh, sorry, you meant hard.
Oh, that as well, yeah.
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 Okie dokie. So, a second story for you here, Jordan. At a house party on Halloween, the party went out into the garden for a light-hearted pagan ceremony. You wanna jump in there, Jordan?
I'm just enjoying it, really.
Well, you know, there's just a little thing there. Maybe doing a light-hearted pagan ceremony when you don't know anything about it. Maybe you shouldn't be messing with shit.
Maybe don't be doing that. Yeah.
But when they were out there, they noticed a blue fairy with the appearance of a tiny, naked, winged boy.
Wow.
Their words, not mine. He was hovering in the thick trees and shrubs playfully. At least 6 sober adults witnessed it, and some took photos. It was about 9 to 10 p.m. On one of the photos, the fairy is quite clear. He appears around 4 inches in height, and although blurred due to movements, he is clearly not any type of insect. There were other paranormal beings being shown in the photo, not relevant to the census. The only reason the story and the photos are not public is because the members of the group work in education, the justice system, and other public offices. They are afraid of the repercussions that might follow from various angles. They conclude by saying the house is Victorian and haunted, and also near several Norse, Celtic, and Roman sites. He's educated in British folklore, so assumed it was a fairy. I believe him completely, and all his witnesses are credible, educated people.
Could they not post the evidence anonymously?
I definitely think that would be very possible to do, yes.
So, really, it's more like total bollocks. Nothing really happened. And Jordan was right.
What it actually was some guy high off his tits on shrooms in this garden on his own, surrounded by 6 imaginary friends.
Puckering up to all these bugs.
Puckering up. Very good. So a little third one here for you, Jordan. I was driving home from a business trip. I live in a very rural part of North Yorkshire. I was driving over the moorlands when my car stalled and stopped. Everything cut out. In the distance, I could see what looked like lanterns approaching me. They got closer and closer, and suddenly it became as light as day. A fairy procession came into view with a king and queen on black horses. Their manes swept the ground. Behind them came a long line of fairies, some playing instruments. Once they had passed me, my ignition cut in and my car came back to life. They varied. Those at the front of the line were quite beautiful, and those at the back were more soberly dressed, and their features were not so well defined. And I do not know what soberly dressed means. Any idea?
I wondered if it was like some sort of fairy funeral or something then.
Possibly. I don't know what soberly dressed means, though.
Shall I find out?
Yeah, if you want.
Soberly dressed in a way that is plain and not bright.
Oh, okay.
So I guess kind of dark and a bit mournful.
Yeah, like a funeral, like you say. Fair enough. This experience continues. I live in the Yorkshire Dales, designated a place of outstanding beauty, rolling hills and moors. So yes, it could easily be associated with fairies. Anything you wanna jump in and say there, John?
Associated with fairies, but it could be any means of paranormal.
Very true. The thing I was hunting for, the little nugget of information I was thinking is, he's saying that he lives in this place, which is somewhere you'd imagine this kind of thing to be.
Yeah. You don't really expect to see an alien grey just kind of wandering the moors, do you?
Yeah, like taking photos and stuff like that. But you might expect more to see something like a fairy living in the wilderness.
Yes.
So maybe that's the way it's showing itself to you because you're in that environment.
So is this implying that anything that we think we should see, we could see?
Yeah, well, it's like James was saying, if you are in an area and somebody says this place is haunted by, I think the example he used was a dirty great big badger or something like that, then that's what you're going to start to see. So it's ingrained into you that you think, oh, fairies inhabit the forest and the wilderness and they're of the land. So if you're in an area like that, that's what you think you might see.
Yeah, that makes sense. But also, there's a thing, I didn't say it during it because I didn't want to disturb the flow with James' interview, but when he gave that example of like dirty great big badger or whatever it was,
yeah.
I couldn't help but think you used to be called Badger.
Yeah, very true. I didn't even cross my mind, you know.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So this tale continues. They've never heard of any recent confirmed sightings. I have seen many spirits. Little nudge there, Jordan. Right, sorry. Yeah, you just cut out there. I think what you were trying to say to me is so it's clear that this person is a believer already.
Yeah, I think it was.
You've come back
a real
in?
Believer. Yeah. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you come back in. Thanks for that.
Cool.
Yeah, so this person definitely seems to believe in this sort of otherworldly phenomena. So they are maybe more inclined to fall for something that they are being shown.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I said.
That is exactly what you said. Yeah, I was just reading that from the transcript that comes through on my end.
It was a bit delayed, but it got there.
It got there in the end. They continue by saying, they were part of the church deliverance team, but had never experienced fairies before.
What are fairies?
They ask.
I honestly don't know, but I do know what I saw. What I experienced was real. It was not a figment of my imagination. They paid no attention to me whatsoever. I knew that they were real because my car died on me.
Oh, sorry, Jordan, did you say something there, mate?
Just because his car died meant that everything else had to be real too.
I'm sorry, I think you're speaking a foreign language, but I think that translates to something along the lines of, in alien phenomena, it is also very common for cars and electronics to cut out when they come into your presence.
Yeah, also what I meant, yeah.
Oh, you're back in the English there, nice one. Okay,
Yeah.
I can understand that, very cool. Thank you very much for that. Very, very important point, Jordan.
You're welcome.
The person says they were a little afraid as they came closer, so they locked their car doors. They passed in their own time, and only after they passed the car did it start up again. They say they were shaking, so they drove home very slowly.
Yeah.
Now, Jordan, here is the point that I would like to bring up my little side chat. The B-side of the conversation. The backward pass rugby ball to the forward running player. Flip the narrative. Remix the conversation.
Ian?
What? Yes?
You said that we were a bit pressed for time. Can you just...
Yeah, we are.
Can you get on with it, please?
I need to leave in like 5 minutes. Sorry, what was that last bit?
How many's left?
I've got 14 left to say.
We better just carry on. Quick, go on.
Okay, right. What? Now?
Yeah, now. Yeah.
Okay, right, sorry. Are you ready for me to switch the tracks and the detail? This conversation?
Ian.
Sorry. I thought you just trying to slip one more in. So...
Normally don't mind that.
So now we've been playing this little game for a while as we've been going through, but now I'd like to take you through some similarities between the Fae and aliens and how they are perhaps one and the same, much like we have discussed in the past. Both you and I, and with the chat with James last week, with the one entity portraying themselves as many. So let's discuss some of these similarities and maybe decide what they are for ourselves, shall we?
Yeah, go on.
Well, just before we do, you might be thinking, Ian, why are you solely focusing on the comparison between aliens and fairies when it could literally be anything? And the reason is because the way they present do match so closely, and because generally people tend to think more of aliens as beings from exoplanets. So I just want to discuss and see if that could maybe be dispelled and see what you think.
Okay.
Smashing. So, encounters with fairies and aliens often involve unexplained phenomena, such as strange lights, mysterious disappearances, or encounters with beings that defy conventional understanding.
Yeah.
So do you think that's a very broad term, or do you think that's very specific to these two experiences?
I think that is a blanket term for the lot, isn't it?
But I mean, I could say, I went to the shop and I saw something that defied conventional understanding. The bananas were on the roof. So... Is that specifically designated to paranormal?
Oh, I see.
And could that literally be put over any aspect of it, or is that solely relating to just the two of them?
I would have thought to any aspect.
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
Hey, mate, your thoughts are your thoughts. Nothing's wrong in this conversation.
I very seldom have thoughts. What would your thoughts be?
Well, my thoughts are that it all lines up in a lot of similar ways.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've spoken about my views. If you go back to episode 2, you'll hear a 40-minute episode on my views.
It's very true.
So next one, in both fairy lore and alien encounters, there are accounts of individuals being abducted or taken against their will. So in aliens, they turn up in your bedroom in the middle of the night. In the Fae, they take you, I was thinking you'll see them, or you'll see the will-o'-the-wisp and you'll follow it, and it's to lure you deeper into the woods, and then they'll be like, oh, hey, come and have a party with us, have this drink, and then you'll take a little drink, and then you'll be like, right, I gotta go home, and you'll come back out, and all of a sudden 30 years has passed.
Right, yeah. And that was one hell of a party.
Yeah, I only had the one drink.
You say it was one drink, but actually it was worth the amount of a whole river.
Yeah, it was a very big glass.
It was.
So the next one, encounters with fairies and aliens both involve experiences of time distortion where individuals report losing track of time or experiencing time dilation during their encounters. So like I said a second ago, you'll go away, you'll have a little nibble, you'll come back and, 10 years has passed.
Yeah.
In alien encounters, you'll see a light, all of a sudden you'll blink and then 6 hours has passed.
I see what you're doing.
Oh yeah? What am I doing?
You're saying to me that aliens and fairies cut from the same cloth.
Precisely, Jordan. Well spotted. Both fairies and aliens are sometimes associated with the concept of interdimensional travel, suggesting that they may possess the ability to traverse between different planes of existence or dimensions.
Yep, I couldn't put it better myself.
Thank you very much. Fairies and aliens are often attributed with psychic abilities, such as telepathy, telekinesis, or the ability to manipulate reality in subtle ways.
And to stop people speaking fluently.
That's it. That's my problem. I've got a fairy behind me with a knife to my throat.
Yeah.
Read it. Go on.
I can't.
I know, you bastard.
So yeah, what I'm trying to say is the interpretation of fairies and aliens can vary depending on cultural and historical context. In some cases, encounters with fairies may be interpreted as encounters with extraterrestrial beings, or vice versa. It might just depend on what you believe in what you witness, your cultural background, and maybe even something as simple as where you are at the time. So like I was saying, in the moors, you're probably more likely to see a fairy. In your own bedroom, you're probably more likely to see an alien.
Yeah. I get you. Only because you're predisposed to believe that.
Yeah, I mean, somebody who maybe doesn't research this will just think they're all separate entities, and they won't see the connections between them.
Of course, yeah.
But me, I've got a big fucking whiteboard with bits of string going from pins to pins, from pictures of Bigfoot right down to gnomes.
From the garden centre.
Yeah, I couldn't afford it, so I have to do it at the garden centre.
God.
So anyway, just after that little side snogger.
Lovely.
Got another little couple stories for you just to finish up the little Yorkshire. Let's just pretend that gnomes and fairies are all lovely creatures. And here's another couple stories for you, Jordan.
All right.
My mother was 12 years old and living in West Yorkshire. She was walking down the Park Road on a summer afternoon when she heard movement in a garden she was passing. She looked over the low boundary wall and through a gap in the bushes to see a small man about 2 feet high. She said he was dressed in a brown sackcloth type material, baggy trousers and a coat with a thick belt, a slightly pointed cap, and was bearded. He didn't look very happy about being seen, and she was frightened at the strange size and appearance, and she ran away. She said he looked like a storybook gnome and found the experience unnerving. My mother was slightly embarrassed to tell the story, as many people would question the sanity of the witness or at least their reliability in some way, which is the really cool factor that we spoke about.
Of course, yeah.
But she would often talk to me about it if I brought it up, but would never talk to a stranger about it. That is another weird thing that we hear of gnomes and fairies and things looking like you'd expect them to, like when you see one at a garden centre.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you just think, oh, it's a whimsical sort of, oh, look at that gnome, you know, with a red pointy hat and blah, blah, and the fishing rod. But apparently, that is what they look like.
Okay.
So every time I see a gnome now, I give it evils.
Because it could be an alien.
Could be a fucking alien. But small enough to kick.
Yeah. I mean, how surprised would you be, though, if you went to the garden centre and you saw a bunch of alien statues?
I'd be very shocked.
Human-sized.
Yeah, I just had my phone out, poised, ready to call your number just in case one of them moves.
Yeah.
Right, so Jordan, last one for you. My grandmother was very fey. She had the sight and could see and interact with them over there. Excuse me.
You all right?
I had a bit of hiccup.
Uh-oh.
Don't you know? No time. My grandparents lived rurally in the West Riding of Yorkshire. Apart from their immediate neighbours, the house was in quite an isolated location. It was an old house, one of the lodges to a large stately home. One day, she was looking out the window when it started to rain. Her next door neighbour had left their washing out on the washing line, and my grandmother could see a very old lady folding it up and taking it indoors. Later, when her neighbour returned, they came round to thank my grandmother for taking in their washing, but she, the grandmother, said no, it hadn't been her, and that it had been their Gaushest, and that it had been their house guest.
Turned German.
For that was who she had supposed the other person to have been. But strangely, there was nobody else staying there. Her neighbours had no idea of whom the old lady could have been, and yet there was the washing, all neatly folded and dry inside of their house. My grandmother didn't relate this to fairy experience. This is my interpretation of it, i.e. the person writing it, but she used to see ghosts quite a lot, but this did seem to fall into a different category for me.
Only because you don't fucking know.
Yeah! Learn your shit. I will get off my high horse now and ask you, Jordan, what do you think about that story? Because as I was reading through it, I didn't really get the fairy vibe from it.
Yeah.
It could, I guess, relate to like brownies, like house brownies.
Delicious.
We've been through this before. Not that kind of brownie.
Sorry.
The fairy kind. Like they help you around the house and like mow your lawn for you. You know, if you feed it snacks and you're nice to it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it didn't really seem like that kind of experience. And I was like, is this a fairy experience, really?
Are you all right?
Yeah, sorry. I got my balls trapped in my drum stool.
Okay, it makes sense. Yeah, I also don't get the vibe of a fairy encounter. Yeah, it just doesn't seem to work for me. And possibly because, what was it? It was seen like folding the laundry or something, putting it away.
Yeah, taking in the washing.
So, fairies are usually quite small.
Yep.
And I assume this is full-grown human-sized clothing.
Yeah, to be able to reach up as well and pick the pegs off the line.
I don't know, it seems a little bit far-fetched, I think.
To me, in all honesty, this just sounds like a person walking by, a good Samaritan walking past the house. Like, oh, it's raining. Oh, no, their washing needs taken in. I'll go do it.
Right.
Yeah, it just sounds like a random passerby.
Yeah, or what we didn't realise is that the grandmother just got Alzheimer's.
And she did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she couldn't remember. That's it. End of the story.
End of that story. But out of the Yorkshire lot, that was the only one that kind of made me question the veracity of the story itself. So it's not a bad haul, I think. I mean, like I said, there's thousands of stories from all around the world, so I might have another little look through and see if there's anything a bit more juicier when I'm a little less pressed for time. But it's very interesting. I'll link the fairy census in the description of this so you can have a little look for it if you like yourself.
Great, yeah.
But yeah. There you go, some fairy stories for you, or alien stories, or one of the two, or none, or all, who knows.
Paranormal stories.
Paranormal stories.
Except the last one.
Except the last one, yeah, it's just a nice old woman helping out.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, thank you for that, Iain.
No worries at all, pal. So, does that about bring us round to the end of today's episode, Jordan?
I think so, Iain.
Smashing! Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Two Guys What's Up. I'm going to have to do this really fast, by the way, because I've got to go in like 5 minutes to get my son. Don't forget to follow the show wherever you listen to us so you don't miss another episode, and maybe even tell a friend. Take your friend into the forest, show them a no. F*** off.
And if you'd like to get in touch with us, our Linktree link is in the bio of this episode,
Faster.
which you can click on and be jetted off to any link you'll ever need for all your Two Guys What's Up essentials. Want to get your own Two Guys What's Up t-shirt? Click the link.
Want to snog a gnome? Click the link.
Want to what?
Snog a gnome.
Say it again 3 times fast.
Come on, hurry up, time's ticking.
Want to create your own facepalm memories? Click the link.
And don't forget we have Patreon where you can find all your Two Guys What's Up extras, including pin badges, showers, t-shirts, and if you really can't get enough of our fantastic tales and gorgeous voices, well, now you can get more because we now release bonus episodes on which come out the last Friday of every month. And now currently 10 sitting up there, which wait for your ears, just go and have a little comment over there. And that's all available. That's all available right now, starting with the bonus episode for £3 a month.
I might slow this down and see what it actually says. So if you want to help support the show and get some cool stuff while you do so, head over to patreon.com/Two Guys What's Up to check out all the goodies over there. The link will be down below for your clicking pleasure.
But if you can't do that, but you'd still like to help us out, then 5-star rating and review in your podcast app of choice would be the best way to do that, and we would be eternally grateful.
That we would.
But on that note, thanks for listening. Have a nice week, guys. I will see you next time. Bye.
We should do that more often.
I better fucking power through this because we've got 18 minutes. So yes, it could have been easily, fucking hell, as we've been going through. But now I'd like to take you to...